yeah, we want to finish up with our Chillaxin pose. This is number 4 in the basic training. And with the leg loops at the knees, it's a great position for anybody to get into. So if it's a beginner that has never floated or done any sort of suspension training, it's a great introduction to what we can do in moving in multidimensional space. It's a little bit easier than when the leg loops are at the ankles because our legs are fully extended, so it's harder when we move the pivot point away from the body. It's easier if we just bend the knees and bring it back up if they're having difficulty in the floating Buddha. So that's why number 4 is really the go-to pose for everyone. And then if you're at the knees and it's still difficult, we can pull the leg loops all the way up to the center line at the groin, and then more weight is supported by the legs. So if the underarms get a little sore, a little tired of holding the weight, we just pull the leg loops closer to the center line of the body. Works really well. So let's hop in here. So we're going to go through our chill flow, feet centered on the mat, bringing our arms up and around, hugging our swing to begin, pushing it down with our forearms, leaning back. Woo! Sliding in, forearm press, making a diamond with your arms, making sure they're high enough that you can still see. And then heel toeing to 10 and 2 for our sumo. We get into all of the poses through our sumo. And then from here, I'm going to reach around, grab for the leg lift, both hands, right? So hug the swing, go ahead and lift the knee. Get that one. Now the knee can be higher or lower depending on the level, the experience level. So I'm going to actually have my leg loops a little lower than I normally do, but you can actually have them up all the way towards the chest line. Everyone asks me, what's the best position for the leg loops? And I always say whatever is comfortable. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like with the leg loops a little higher too. So this is as low as we want them. We don't want them lower than the actual hips. But there's this 4-inch play in the daisy chains that we can adjust everything. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like with them up one. So you can just see it's not too different, but it is a personal preference. So I bring them down for beginners, and then I bring them up for more advanced. Okay, so now you'll see they're up one more notch, which is 4 inches, and it's not a huge difference, but this would be the more advanced version. Okay, and then from here I'm going to use my Chillaxin arms. This is the full chill sequence, so that's where the name came from, supporting the head with your hands, interlacing the fingers, creating a little platform for your skull to lean back into, letting the sternum lift towards the sky, and pushing one knee down and then the other knee down, and we come into our swagger. So swaying from side to side is incredibly healing for the connective tissue, for the spine, for the lower hips, as well as opening the heart and the upper body. So we're opening both the lower and upper body in this sequence. Pretty amazing from just one pose. From here we're going to come into a seated version of the pigeon pose. So I'm going to use my momentum to get my right foot on top of the left knee, behind the leg loop. And then I like to just keep my foot flexed. That keeps the knee safe and happy. And as you can see, if you push the hips down and open the heart, just even there's a really good stretch. But we're going to do a little undulation here to just notice that there are many variations. We're going to open up the arms wide, take a nice big inhale. And then exhale, hug the leg loops towards you, keep the chest lifted, and that deepens the stretch. Now sometimes that might seem too far, so somebody can hold on to the leg loop and the foot. Okay, but it's the same idea as squaring the hips, pressing the sit bones down, lifting the sternum up. Nice big stretch. Okay, great. Let's change sides. Let's come back into our Chillaxin arms. Use our momentum. Left foot on top, foot flexed. And if I sway in the space, I also call it wagging the tail, where the right foot can just kind of explore. And just even swaying from side to side and having a little swagger here can feel really good on opening up all this tightness in the hips. Everybody I know, from all the sitting and driving and computer heads, is having tightness in the hips and lower back. So this is really helpful. And then we'll go through another undulation. Inhale, tee the arms. Exhale, wrap yourself around, hugging the leg loops towards you. So we're diving in with the heart. So we're not head diving today, we're heart diving. So yeah, get the head back over the body and let the heart lead the way. And if that's too much, hold on to the foot and just pull the foot in. So there's a lot of different variations we can do here. We'll come back to what I call the seated pigeon sequence when we get into the AerialYoga program to really understand how we can create an entire therapeutic out of this pose. But we're going to move on from our seated pigeon, releasing that foot, coming back into our swagger, swaying from side to side, extending through the foot and toes. If you kind of pause at the edges, I call it a freeze frame. So you just extend and lift and twist, slowing it down. It feels really good on the hip flexor. That's it. And then when we come back through center, we're going to hop right into our chill flow. We're going to inhale to the arms. Exhale, child. Wrap. This time you can bow in, so wrap your arms around. Let your forehead rest on the naked of hands. And then inhale, blossom for star. Let's just do that a few times. Inhale, blossom. Exhale, child, squeeze, hug, relax, round the back. Inhale, blossom for star. Expand, arch and open. Exhale, squeeze, child's pose. So keep those hips really heavy the entire time. The hips don't move. We're actually allowing the heart to lead the way. So hips stay exactly where they are. Blossom, yes, long arms and legs. And then squeeze. Yeah. One more time. Inhale, lift, and expand. Like a superstar. There you go. Shake it out if you like. Superstar, superstar. Shake, shake, shake. And then we're going to squeeze one more time. All right. Now, if somebody needs a break, this is a great place to pause. Just leave them in a child's pose for a few breaths. It's just really good to let the glutes hang, open up the back, the kidneys. And now we're going to come back into our star. We're going to add on from here. Inhale, star. Exhale, squeeze. Legs together. Hands to prayer. Straight legs. Hands around the swing. Press the hips up, lean back. Reverse namaste. So now the forearms are our hook. Nice strong hook there. Let's go ahead and sink the hips down. Do that one more time. Inhale, blossom. Exhale, child's. Inhale, star. Exhale, squeeze the legs together, hands to prayer. Inhale, press the hips up. Exhale, lean back. Inhale, reach up, grab for the swing, and exhale, slide into ladle. Now you're going to have to maneuver a little bit from side to side. Just shift the hips to get it into the sweet spot. And then from ladle, you can swing the arms out, wide, and overhead. Fingertips up, fingernails touching the ground. And then palms facing up. Now if we're going to go into the full bow pose, we're going to bend the knees and reach back for the ankles, pressing the hips up strongly. Now this is a big pose, so maybe some people just reach towards the ankles, but they don't actually grab. If we hold on to the ankles, we're pulling the heart away from the heels. And then release, reach up, grab for the swing. Inhale, head up. Exhale, hips down. Starting to feel that pivot point in the body. That's a big pose. So typically, we need to hang out. So we're going to just let ourselves acclimate. Bow is going to be a big opener for the front of the spine, turning on the endocrine system, getting the chakras spinning. So once we feel centered and balanced again, we're going to reach for our knees and slide up the leg loops as high as we can. I usually go through that chill flow like 3 to 5 times in class, so you just repeat that over and over again, especially bow. See if anybody wants to go back into it. So knees, leg loops, that's our cue. Knees to leg loops, bicep curl, lift from the chest, and then exhale, come down and squeeze. So let's do that a few times. Bicep curl, lift at the chest, legs open wide. Yes. Exhale, squeeze. Head stays over the body. Bicep curl, lift, arch. Exhale, squeeze. This is a version of child's. Inhale, lift. Bicep curl up. All right, now we're going to hang out here and really get the hips comfortable with this openness. So we're going to rotate back and forth. So I'm going to push my hips forward, and I'm going to sink my hips back, but my head is over. Look up the whole time. So the head stays over the body. Just the chest leads the way. That's it. Look up the whole time, so it like helps you just with your eyes. Yeah, wherever your gaze goes, that's where your body goes, right? There you go. Good. So we get the hips comfortable. with this big opening, and then we're going to balance straight up and down, come into our skydiver. Yeah, good. Once we're in skydiver, we're going to keep pressing forward, tee the arms, that's it. And then we bend the elbows, bend the knees for our floating butterfly. Oh, gosh, this is such a big opener. Yeah, so the hands stay high instead of coming down towards the waist. And then in this pose, you let the weight of your upper body open your chest. Feet together, knees open wide. I'm going to show some alternatives. For some people, this is too much of a stretch. So to come out of it, we pull the feet down towards the ground, sink the hips back, and catch ourselves with our arms. Landing it in our Chillaxin. Pull the feet down, sink the hips back, that's it. Go ahead and catch yourself with your arms. Yes, perfect. Take a moment to breathe into that openness in the chest, that openness in the hips. It's a big, big stretch everywhere. So we lead up to our butterfly. Now let's try it in our high diver position for those that when their hips are tight, the leg loops will slide up towards the groin. So we're just going to go ahead and bicep curl up to stand. So hold on to not the swing, but the leg loops. Yes. And then pull yourself up. There you go. So legs stand. So legs come together in the center of the mat, and then we're going to just shift so these feel like they're in a sweet spot. It's like we have our parachute equipment on, our skydiving equipment. Okay, so that's why I call it high skydiver. So we're going to lean back and notice that there's a space between the swing and the leg loops. And in that space, we bring our hands to prayer. Yes. Now from here, we're going to press our arms forward, bring our chest with us, and then the arms go wide. See if the head can come back over the body so the heart leads the way. Now that's beautiful, that's it. Now from there, we're going to heel toe to wide center on the mat. So we might need to get the leg loops on the outside of the hip bones. So just do a little shifting from side to side. Yeah, that's a little bit more comfortable. Pressing the hips forward. So come up onto the toes. Press forward. Yeah, that's it. That's the pose. Awesome. So this is our skydiver alternative for those with the legs that it feels too tight for them for now. And then we can practice flapping our wings here. We can feel when we push our arms forward, our chest lifts. And when our arms come back, our chest dives. So when we tee the arms, we want the thumbs to come right out of the shoulder joints. See how they're all the way back into a Y? We're going to push them forward into a T, and notice that lifts the chest. Not before, not in front of the arms, but right out of the shoulders. So yeah, find that T. Head stays lifted. Gaze is lifted. There you go. A little bit more of a T. Down. Yes, that's the T. There you go. Perfect. Now from there, that's where we bend the elbows in towards the shoulders, right? So you can wiggle it into the sweet spot. Yes. And then from there, we can lift our legs. They're going to go wide. Knees stay wide, but feet can come together. All right. So this is another version of our butterfly position. Maybe we can add a little flutter from side to side. See what it feels like to bank. So whenever you see the alternative with high skydiver legs, it means the leg loops slide all the way up to the top of the thighs. From there, we're going to bring our feet down wide, center on the mat. We're going to pull with our arms and pull ourselves back up to stand and lean back. To transition back to where we were, we lift our knees, let the leg loops slide back down. Nice and easy. It's a deep myofascial rocking session on the fascia on the legs, which we'll get into in our therapeutics practice as well. So even that can be a wonderful release for the legs. A lot of the stagnation and tension in the legs will start to drain out when we do some of our inversions too. Okay, we're just going to add a little swagger from side to side. That's all of number 4A. And we're going to finish up with our dancing Shiva sequence. Okay, do you have any questions about that part? Do you want to review that first?
I don't think any questions came up.
Awesome.
So it's keeping my chest, my head
and chest lifted, yes.